Some lives are cries, others flames. Claudia Jones was both at once, born in poverty, exiled by misery, broken by illness, but never defeated. She turned her pen into a weapon, her voice into a banner, and celebration into a battlefield. This is the story of Claudia, the mother of black feminism, the woman who made resistance dance. 1915, Trinidad. A little girl runs through the dusty streets of Port of Spain. Her name is Claudia, but her future lies elsewhere. The Jones family leaves the island, boarding a ship to New York. The promised El Dorado is nothing more than another field of hardship. In Harlem, segregation is everywhere. Her mother dies when Claudia is only 13. Too early, she learns the cruelty of the world, and yet she shines. At school, her teachers see her as a prodigy. She receives the Theodore Roosevelt Award for her exceptional results. But poverty strikes again. Her family cannot afford the journey, and Claudia cannot even attend her own graduation ceremony. A prize without celebration, a medal without applause. As if that weren't enough, fate placed another trial in her path. At 17, tuberculosis struck, her lungs scarred forever. Medicine condemned her to a fragile life. Every breath would now be a battle. The disease kept her from university, closed the gates of institutional knowledge. But Claudia refused to let illness define her. Barred from the halls of academia, she chose the streets instead. She learned differently. She observed. She wrote. She turned her pain into power. She began modestly in a small Harlem paper with a column called Claudia Comments. But soon, her words became lightning bolts. At 20, she joined the American Communist Party. There she found a political family, a space for her ideas. And in 1949, she wrote a text that sounded like prophecy, an end to the neglect of the problems of the Negro woman. In these lines, she spoke a truth the world was not ready to hear. Oppression is never lived in isolation. To be black is to carry the weight of racism. To be a woman is to suffer the burden of sexism. To be poor is to endure exploitation. But when you are a black woman in poverty, these chains do not simply add up. They intertwine. They reinforce one another. They forge an invisible prison, far heavier than each one taken alone. What Claudia wrote then would 40 years later be called intersectionality. A word she never spoke, but an idea she lived, shouted, embodied, her message. You cannot liberate a people while forgetting its women. You cannot liberate women while forgetting the poorest. Freedom must be total, or it is only a mirage. But McCarthy's America did not like free voices. Claudia became a target, watched, hunted, arrested. She passed through courtrooms, through prisons. Her body, already weakened, grew frailer still. In jail, she suffered her first heart attack. And yet even behind bars, her ideas still took flight. In 1955, America decided to cast her out. Claudia was expelled, exiled like a stranger, sent to a country she had never chosen, Britain. But in a cold city, McGray City, in the neighborhoods of Brixton and Notting Hill, Caribbean immigrants lived daily humiliation, squalid housing, miserable wages, insults in the streets, racist violence. Claudia once again took up her pen. She founded the West Indian Gazette, the first major black newspaper in Britain, a space of freedom, a voice for a community they tried to silence. But Claudia was not just a pen, she was a strategist. 1958, Notting Hill in flames, racist riots staining the streets with blood. What to do? Claudia chose an unexpected weapon. Not fists, not guns, but drums, colors, dance. In 1959, she organized the first Caribbean Carnival in London, broadcast by the BBC. An explosion of joy in answer to hatred. A people declaring, "We are here, we are proud, and we will not disappear." That carnival would become legendary, the Notting Hill Carnival. Even today, hundreds of thousands dance every year thanks to Claudia. But Claudia's body was failing. Tuberculosis gnawed at her. Heart attacks came again and again. Her nights filled with pain, her days with struggle. Yet still she carried on. She campaigned against anti-immigrant laws. She demanded Nelson Mandela's freedom. Every word she spoke, every article she wrote, was a victory snatched from pain. 1964. Claudia died at only 49, defeated by her body, but never by her enemies. She was buried in Highgate Cemetery, London, and her grave lies beside that of Karl Marx, a perfect symbol. Her paper, the West Indian Gazette, vanished a few months after her death, but her legacy never faded. Commemorative plaques, postage stamps, institutions bearing her name, and above all, every year, in the streets of London, the Notting Hill Carnival resounds with her spirit. Drums, dances, colors, and behind them, the invisible smile of Claudia. Claudia Jones leaves us with an eternal lesson. Freedom is not always a march of soldiers. Sometimes it is a dance. Sometimes it is a drum. Sometimes it is a pen. Even broken, she built a legacy stronger than stone. So remember this: when they try to erase you, make more noise. When they try to crush you, dance harder. And never forget, culture is a weapon, and Claudia Jones, a general of joy.